It's with Marnie. Oh,
I've done that before.
it says it has a thing on my screen right now. Do you see a thing on your screen?
Oh, is it asking it if it's okay to record?
Yes. Continue.
I would say yes, please.
Okay.
Sorry, everybody. This is a new feature. I guess there's been an update since I hit record while you were speaking. I wanted you to know.
I'll just start again.
Morning, everybody.
Good morning. It's Motivation Mornings with Marty and Melissa. I'm Melissa Houston, health insurance specialist and financial planner in Victoria, BC, Canada. And there's nothing like a good laugh to start the morning.
Exactly. Oh my gosh. Good morning, everyone. I'm Marnie Dangerfield, also here in Victoria, BC. And yeah, it's good to laugh. And technology is evolving, as are we. And you just never know what's going to happen every week, every morning.
Hear that?
So thanks for joining us. I'll just give a bit of an overview so you know what to expect, and then we'll get started. So we always like to start with our value statement. We'll read that, and then we'll be sharing what's inspiring us this week. Melissa will go first, and I will, and then Melissa will be sharing financial wellness tip this week. Always like to have pen and paper handy for that. And then she'll also share our contact information and another pen and paper worthy moment with the journal prompt. And then we'll be sharing our gratitude. And we're hoping you'll share what's inspiring you and what you're grateful for this week as well. And then we'll finish up. I'll be sharing a motivational quote.
Yes, quote from Marty this week. Yay. My favorites. Okay, I'm going to see if I can do our value statement without looking. Today we gather
in the spirit of possibility,
in support of community,
to encourage holistic well-being,
to empower our authentic selves,
to share appreciation,
to express compassion,
to enjoy this gift of life.
Yay!
Way to go!
Did it!
Did
it! Oh, I feel like I've got a lot to talk about today.
Ooh, oh boy.
And so since I'm going first with my inspiration, it's going to make me seem like a TV junkie, but my inspiration this week is another Apple Plus show, which you may have heard of because it's been in the news lately. It's called The Me You Can't See, which is sort of hosted, I guess you would say, by Oprah and Prince Harry. And it is all about mental health. And so to me, it feels like a big thing because it's pretty serious in content. They're discussing some really big topics in the realm of mental health and some really difficult times that people have gone through. And it's just, I've watched 2 of the episodes so far, and I was just so impressed by how respectful they are in discussing these topics. They're talking to both celebrities and just everyday people. And I don't think they're sharing the celebrities because they're like, look at us, we're celebrities. I think it's more trying to show that even these people that are often seen on pedestals as being, the richest and the most privileged and powerful, that they too are just humans and they have these struggles too. And so and they're really trying to hit it home that everyone has mental health struggles at some point in their lives, to some degree. And there's just still a lot of stigma attached to that. And people can have a lot of difficulty wanting to discuss it and reach out for help. And that's really what the whole thing is about. It's really trying to end that stigma and encouraging people to find ways to get help when they feel like they need it. And yeah, just they've talked about like depression and OCD, anxiety. And another really nice thing to see is a lot of the people they're talking to who have gone through a lot of things and have sort of found ways to manage it or improve their mental health. They are now doing things to try and give back and try to give people the help that they didn't have themselves when they needed it. So it's yeah, it's it's a little heart wrenching at times, but overall, I think it's really, really important. And I certainly want to encourage anyone to watch it, because even if you feel like, I have a pretty good state of mental health, it will help you understand people who are going through situations, and how to be more empathetic and how you can help them. Because I think a lot of us don't know how to react and how to respond when somebody is going through that. So it's good to learn more about it. And because I think us as a culture, we're just sort of starting on that journey, I feel like, of really, like, everyone knows to go to the doctor when you break your foot, but not everyone goes to the doctor when they're having mental issues. So that is my big recommend. Apple Plus TV, The Me You Can't See. The Me You Can't See.
Oh, thank you for that. Sounds amazing and so needed. Yes, because like you say, I mean, say everyone, but most everyone in their life at some point is going to experience issues with mental health, and it's normal in a way, and how to get, as you say, make it so that it's like, oh, sense it, and how to get help, and as those around people, like for those, if we're around someone we love or is experiencing that, how can we best be supportive and empathetic? So, oh, I'm looking forward to that. Thank you, Melissa. Oh,
Your turn.
so my turn. I'll be sharing a conversation um, the Sierra Club had with Dr. Suzanne Simard and Randy Cook. And I have to admit, I've watched the first part of this presentation. I watched her interview and Randy Cook's interview, and I haven't actually watched the whole thing. So what comes next? The other panelists on the show. But I, even having not done that, even just watched the first two. Dr. Suzanne Simard, she's written a book and has done all sorts of research. I don't know if you've heard of the Wood Wide Web, and so she's done a lot of research about the mycorrhiza and the mycelium network and how trees communicate. And she has a new book out called Finding the Mother Tree. I'm just starting, discovering the wisdom of the forest, and just how the research now is showing this how trees communicate, how they support one another, how they are in community, and the relationships that come with that, and how under our feet with these trees, it's just amazing what's going on, and this expansive network that's happening, and the importance of these mother's trees that are the hub and that help support the new trees coming up, and not always just in their own family. They with their neighbors, with their other plants and such as well. So and there's other ways trees communicate, but her focus is on the underground, in the fungi network underneath. And so it's just a really, I thought, really inspiring way, there's messages of reconnection for ourselves, but also just to learn from the trees and their systems, and how they work, and how we are connected to that. And so I'm going to share that, and also about the book. There's also this Mother Tree project that they're working on, and that's a whole other website that, oh my gosh, there's so much good information on it. So if you're at all intrigued about the Wood Wide Web and what we can learn, and what they're continuing to learn from these studies, of the trees in their communities. I'll be sharing the links for those for this. And
Oh,
actually, there'll be a bit of a gap before I do. Won't be right after the call, about a half hour or so. And good morning, Rose. Thank
hi, good morning, Mom.
you. Oh, and she's saying that tree behind Melissa looks like one in our backyard went in bloom. Aha.
I thought it looked familiar.
There's a connection. And you took that picture this morning, right, Melissa?
I did take this picture this morning, so it's like an hour old at a house nearby. Well, that sounds amazing, Marnie. I am definitely going to check that out. I love learning about that kind of stuff.
Like, there's the science, but there's the, yeah, it's very cool.
Very cool.
Ah.
Awesome.
Oh, I'll get my pen and paper handy.
All right. Now for my book report. No. So today I thought I would chat about the Canada Pension Plan. It is something everyone has sort of heard of. I don't know how much most people know about it. I feel like we should know some things about it because it does make up part of our retirement income for most Canadians. So it's nice to know that it's there, but it might be more helpful to actually know how it will be influential to you in particular. So the Canadian Pension Plan is something that all working Canadians, once you reach, I think it's over $1,800 of income, that's when you start contributing to your CPP every year when you're an adult. And you're able to start drawing upon that money as early as age 60. And though 65 was always sort of the standard age, and then they've changed it sort of in recent years where you can take it earlier. If you do, the amount is lowered, but you can also delay starting the payments to age 70. And if you delay it, then you get more money every month. So there is incentive to hold off if you can, but it really depends on everyone's specific financial situation and whether or not they can afford to wait. So the thing to realize with the CPP is, oh, and I have to apologize for any non-Canadians watching, because this will not be applicable to you at all. This is strictly for the Canadians out there. The thing to realize with the CPP is that there is a maximum amount that you can receive per month. And that's just like the standard, regardless of whatever age, like whether you get the reduced amount or a higher amount, there will always be a maximum. But in order to get that maximum, you have to have earned a certain amount of income each year for quite a number of years. And that amount of income is called the yearly Maximal Pensionable earnings. I'm pretty sure I got that right. But so you might see that reference places, YMPE. And then this year it's 61,000. Got a whole bunch of notes here because I haven't memorized all of these figures, but it's 61,000. Where is it? I know I highlighted it. Anyways, I'm quite confident in that number. It was here somewhere. So in other words, if there it is, 61,600 for 2021. So that means this year, in order to qualify for the maximum CPP eventually, you would need to earn that much money this year in income. And the employee does a contribution. If you're an employee, you do a contribution, and then your employer matches half. If you are self-employed, you have to pay both the employee portion and the employer portion. So this is not a free benefit. This is something that you are contributing to from your income every year. So, so I mentioned having to reach that maximum income in order to reach the maximum CPP payment. If right now in 2021, if you were starting to receive those payments, the maximum could be $1,203. But the important thing to note is that most people don't qualify for that maximum. So if you're trying to think ahead and plan your retirement income, this is when it's helpful to have a financial planner to help you with these these calculations. But if you're trying to do it yourself, it's important to realize that most people probably you aren't going to be making that unless you are fairly confident that throughout your working life you're hitting that maximum income amount. But if you suspect it'll be lower, the average amount that gets paid out for everybody is only $689. So it's like half of that maximum. So that is good to be aware of. If you go to My Service Canada, the website My Service Canada, that's where they have like EI information and that. There is a calculator to help give you an estimate of how much you might receive in retirement. And I stress that it is very much an estimate because I've heard from numerous sources that it is not 100% accurate. So don't, feel like that's a guaranteed number in any way. It's an estimate. And then I will also add the other government income that people usually get in retirement is old age security. And that's something, it's not based on your income through your life. It's actually based on how many years you've lived in Canada as an adult. So most people get the regular amount, and that starts at age 65. There isn't really any way to get that early. And that is also around the $600 mark. Let's see, it is maximum for 2021, $615. So if you're an average person, right, and you were getting it right now, getting the $689 and the $615, you would be looking at about $1,200 a month. And then if you were receiving the maximum CPP and the OAS, it'd be more like $1,800 a month. So I feel like that is something really important for people to be aware of, and why it is still really important to save for retirement, because most people would struggle to live on that amount each month. It's doable, but it would not be easy, especially in places like Victoria where the cost of living is higher. So I like to make sure people are aware of that. And the fact is, it does increase with inflation over the years, but it is generally only increasing by inflation. So that means in future dollars, it's going to still be worth about the same as that amount in present dollars, if that makes sense. And I also just wanted to touch on the amount of decrease and increase by taking it early. Here it is. So if you take your CPP at age 60, you will lose up to 36% of the pension permanently. It's reduced by 0.6% every month before your 65th birthday. So that's 7.2% per year. So that is a substantial loss. And usually part of the determination about when to take it is also looking at your health and how long you think that you might potentially live. Because if you are a healthy individual with long-lived family members and you expect to be around for quite a while, you're going to want that monthly amount to be as high as possible because it will last your whole life. So if you're having some health issues and you think, maybe I won't be around till my 90s and 100s, then it might be more important for you to take it earlier. So, and then if you wait until age 70, you will receive 42% more. So that's again, it's a pretty substantial difference between ages of 60 and 70 when you start taking it. Yeah. So I just thought I'd give some people some info about that because they just may not have looked it up before. I don't know.
Oh, I haven't. So thank you. And it's like, I'm not that far away. So this is a good, like, oh, okay, good to know. So, and as you say, knowing that, then it's like, what's the plan to supplement that?
Right.
And knowing the difference of if you wait, how much more. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Do you have any questions? I don't usually ask that, but if anyone has questions.
I don't in this moment, and if people do,
Okay.
feel free to leave in the comments because I know
Yeah.
Melissa is and knows her stuff.
Feel
So.
free.
Yeah.
Feel free. And I will answer it if I know the answer. Awesome. So let's share some contact info. Da, da, da. Here we are. Yes, I like comments below our Facebook Lives because other people can then benefit from answers and so forth. But should you want to contact us privately for any reason, feel free to email us at motivation.mornings@gmail.com. We'd also love to get some motivational quotes from anyone who loves a quote. You are likely on our Facebook page, MM with MM, but if you are not, please visit us there. We have, like I said, all the resources that we talk about in the comments underneath the Facebook Live. So that's a really big reason to visit us there. We have our Instagram, motivation_mornings_with_MM. I post reminders on Wednesday mornings for our webcasts, as well as copies of our weekly motivational quotes. Finally, we have our YouTube channel. That is for all the folks who are not able to join us live and love YouTube. And so they can subscribe to us on there and then get reminders when the recordings get posted and can watch them at their convenience. Dun, dun, dun. And now journal prompt time for all you journalers out there. Marnie's all set, I can tell. Here we are. This week's is, what would I like to say yes to? What would I like to say yes to? Yes.
Maybe a nap for me today, I'm going to say. But anyway, we'll see.
Oh, that sounds really nice, actually.
What came up first?
Oh.
It's early in the day. That might be a message. Oh, thank you, Melissa.
Yeah, of course. And I think we're at gratitudes. And if you're sharing the quote, I will await yours first.
So much to be grateful for, my goodness. But I will admit, last night, I remembered to go outside to see if I could see the heat. Was it a super flower blood moon? Quite a handle this month. And was grateful that before it got swallowed up in the clouds, I was actually able to see some of it and just how bright it was. Oh my gosh. And then there was, so much cloud this morning we weren't going to get to see, or the lunar eclipse that happened earlier as well. But yeah, so I'm just grateful that I remembered to go out and look and to actually catch a glimpse.
Oh, have you seen a lunar eclipse before, Marnie? Oh, I highly recommend it.
Yeah. Thanks.
And they happen fairly frequently compared to solar eclipses. Lunar eclipses happen more frequently and are easier to see. If you ever look at, sorry, I'm a little bit of an astronomy geek, but if you ever see like the path of a solar eclipse, it's a very small amount of area that can see a solar eclipse. Lunar eclipses are much bigger, and so it's not as difficult to see them, and they happen more frequently. But yeah, it's pretty cool to see the moon essentially get dark and red.
Well, I know I was hoping to see the cloak, but it was, and yeah, so next one, but I know this was the only like full lunar eclipse this year. There's a mostly full, I think in November they're the same, but what are you gonna do? I'm sure people have taken videos and I'll see it that way, which is how I usually do. I usually see the video version.
Yeah. And I had, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I feel like I had a really good gratitude I wanted to share earlier, and now it's not coming to me, but thinking in the moment, I'm feeling really grateful for just being healthy and being able to go out on my walks in the mornings, and just feeling grateful for the things we normally take for granted, like working legs and not being in pain, and clean water, fresh air. I don't know, there's just it doesn't take long to come up with this list of things that we don't think about when it's all fine and dandy. So yeah, I'm just feeling grateful for those right now.
Definitely. Yeah, it's like when you pause to think about it, it's like, oh, what is that? All right.
Now I'm so excited to see Marnie's quote. Oh, birdies.
Kind of following up on what you were just sharing. The little things, the little moments, they aren't little. And yeah, pausing for gratitude for them is actually a really lovely practice. Was a network for grateful living, which is one I often love their shares. But yeah, I just thought this was a lovely reminder for us all as we go about our day, and how it just follows up on what you shared, Melissa. So
I love it. Pretty little birds. They're not so little.
no,
They're precious. They make the world a better place. And you make the world a better place, Marnie. Thank you. Thank you for doing this with me every Wednesday. Thank you, Mom, and everyone who has joined us that I might not be able to see, or people watching the replay this week. I can't believe next week's going to be June. Can you believe it?
wow.
June. Wow. Amazing. Anyway, hope you all have a most wonderful Wednesday. Look forward to see you next week.
Everyone. Bye.